I remember when you guys were burying Bob Bradley in the summer, just saying, is he on the hot seat and the Galaxy on the rise?
Well, Bob Bradley too was like making it seem like the LAFC are the Lakers and the Galaxy are the Clippers. I'm like, hold on, like. I don't see any trophies in the
that's
LAFC
the only reason we fought back.
Galaxy.
That's the only reason.
That's where it got me. I was kind of like, don't do that. Like, you know what I mean? We have chance where we talk about championships, so let's not like, you know what I mean? Don't do the whole like, no.
Thank you for downloading and listening to West Box Score. I'm Alex Gonzalez, joined finally the Wolf Pack here in full in effect. The 3-man triangle offense of the West Box Score is here. D-Bot Donald Paz, Box Crate's own Sonny and Mono. What's up, dudes?
Yo, what's going on, brother?
West Box for life.
For life.
That's right.
You're gonna be
Man,
next
it's so good to see you both on a Zoom call, ready to record the West Box Score with both of you guys. It's so great, man. It's been too long. It's supposed to be too sweet. Oh, man. All right. So before we get started, we got to tell you to go check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Westbox Score. Check out Sonny Amano's podcast, The Fox Crate Podcast, and also his Instagram is at The Fox Crate. Be sure to check out our media partner. They are on Twitter at Blue Wire Hustle. Be sure to check out our Discord. That's where D-Bot and I are just live chatting during most games, or we try to anyway. D-Bot's a lot more active on that than I am. And of course, you got our boys, Big Money Matt Paz on there, and Billy Delgado. Big shout out to you guys always being active on the Discord. And of course, Rick Esparza from our Lucha Royale specials is up on there too. Sonny is coming soon, maybe, once the old man figures out. He's got to get a teenage kid to teach him, like one of his teenage neighbors, like, hey, old man Sonny, I'll show you how to work this Discord here.
Shaming? Are you shaming me here?
You are the oldest millennial ever, dude. You're an elder millennial.
And, at least there's 2 millennials in this room.
I respect it. I'm a boomer, proud, the greatest generation ever. Respect me, please.
Dude, it's just,
acknowledge me.
Just so great to be back.
Right? The three of us here together as one. It's the way the world is supposed to be. All is right in the world now. The West Box Score is all together.
This is a precursor for what to when the Lakers get healthy.
That's
right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Drummond came back first. And okay, before you got to give us our full Lakers update because we're all healthy here on the West Box Score. The Lakers, are they all healthy? Are they all at 100% yet? Are they, D-Bot? Yes or no?
They are not 100% yet, but I mean, they're playing like they look like they're 100%. So
nice. I like that.
It's been cool seeing them play lately. So at least it's cool whenever they win, right? Because we love when they win. But yeah, man.
LA loves dubs.
Yeah, but it feels good to have Andre Drummond back for now. I think, was it like 2 days ago that they announced that Anthony Davis is cleared?
Yeah,
he's doing full contact practice for now. So it feels like we're turning the corner, and we're almost there for it to be a fully healthy LA Lakers team just in time for the playoffs, which they're a month away.
3 weeks, right? 3.5 weeks.
Yeah, I want to say May 16th is like the last day of the season for like the whole league. So yeah, we're right now it's May 18th. I mean April 18th right now. So it feels like it feels like it's getting close. I mean, I think like 14 games left. I want to say. Yeah,
just about.
Definitely feels like there's not a lot of room for the Lakers to like mess up. Like they have to figure out like some sort of thing with the rotations and whatnot. But I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, even with the ups and downs. I'm liking how they're kind of been able to gel and whatnot. So it's just a matter of time before King James comes, and then it's like winter is here type of thing.
So last week, Donald, I we missed you on the pod. We had
for sure,
man. Without you, hold it down. But one of the things that I was telling Alex is that Dre is kind of becoming quickly like my new favorite Laker, man.
Yeah.
Like, the dude is just, I feel like, the perfect fit for what we already have for a championship team to hopefully extend that window. What are your thoughts on what you've seen from Andre Drummond so far, and what you think he'll bring once LeBron and AD do come back to the fold?
Man, it just feels like definitely size and like athleticism, which is kind of what was missing when we were talking about Marc Gasol. That it just felt like we were lacking some sort of athleticism there. But I mean, I'm really loving, like you said, how he fits. Definitely because the Lakers, especially last season and this season, they've been very alley-oop friendly. Like they love the alley-oop, and Drummond just fits so well for that. Like seeing him getting the ball tossed from Schroeder to him, and then it just goes in. It's been really, really good. And honestly, he was like the leading scorer in the last game against the Jazz, which was a really good win. I think he scored like 27 points. I see that Caldwell Pope and Schroeder come 25 points each. So, I mean, you're already seeing like how the dude is contributing. I did see that, what was the game? I don't know if it was this last game with the Jazz. Might have been the one before that where they had won. And I remember it was a one where Schroeder got ejected. The Nets. Nets. And I remember like I was seeing that Mike Trudell from the Lakers Reporter was saying that like that Drummond was able to gather the rest of the team and really like told them like, all right, like it's just us now, like we just got to make it happen. So it seems like he's got that like kind of leadership mentality, and I think that's what helps to have that, it helps to have someone that looks like he just wants to contribute and also be a leader when need to be. And right now that's what the Lakers have been needing. They've been needing a leader to step up with AD and LeBron out. But like you, man, I think it's great. I think he fits the system well. And really at this point, it's just about Vogel and his rotations. That's the biggest thing right there.
Yeah, unfortunately, after they got that huge win against the Nets, they laid an egg against the Knicks.
Yeah.
and then I think they came back and beat Charlotte. I forget who it was that they beat. And then
I believe it was Charlotte. Yeah.
And
it was like that hungover game with the Knicks, which was interesting. Like I was kind of like, all right. But then again, the Knicks are pretty formidable, man. They're going to make the playoffs. So it's not like, it was just kind of cool that they beat the Nets, who were the bigger team.
Hold the presses. Did Donald just say the Knicks are pretty formidable team? Formidable? Is that what he just said?
I mean, Tom Thibodeau's really turning that franchise around. It's crazy. But I mean, obviously, it's just kind of weird to see that, though. I think for me, it's weird to see it. I think it's interesting to see the Knicks kind of have some sort of like, playoff moment right now. But yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, I thought like, you're a little hungover from that. But I think right now that we're inching closer, they definitely have to really tool it together, because I think they're in fourth place, I believe.
Fifth place.
Okay.
2 games ahead of Portland and a game and a half behind the Denver Nuggets, who just lost one of their key players, Jamal Murray. I think it was a torn MCL, ACL. So shout out to that guy. Hope he recovers soon. From a standings, perspective, though, of course, it's kind of like a silver lining, if you will, for the Lakers, for Laker fans, because as much as you don't ever want to see any other player go down with any injuries, it's like it does feel like the playing field has been leveled a little bit, considering that the Lakers have had these significant injuries. Nothing as significant as Jamal Murray's so far, but so we'll see what happens with Denver now that they don't have their Batman and Robin duo in Jokic and Murray.
A game that I want to get your guys' opinions on is the Lakers-Celtics rivalry game. Every time the Lakers and Celtics play a game, I always, that's kind of must-watch TV, right? Because of the old school, how much hatred goes on between these two franchises, right? That rivalry runs really deep. So, and it also was on my radar so much so because it was the first game that fans were allowed back inside Staples Center. As somebody who is going to be inside Staples Center this upcoming week soon, I was especially watching to see what that rollout was going to be like. So so far it seems pretty good, but I'm just curious. And then I checked out the game as a whole, and the Lakers, on the performance-wise, didn't do so well against the Celtics, which is expectedly so. Celtics are a really formidable team. Not as much as the Knicks are, maybe.
We're just handing out the F word to all teams now. Huh?
So every time, don't you realize there's a pattern here? Every time the Lakers lose to a team, they're a formidable team.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's why they lost, of course. It's not the fact that our 2-star players are out. No, it's just that team is so good.
Yeah.
Typical. This LA biased media that we're doing here now.
Yeah.
This gossip journalism that we're doing now.
Oh man. Yeah.
So what was your opinion on that Lakers Celtics game? Sonny, I'll start with you.
I did watch it, of course, because like you said, it is, regardless of the fact that we don't have our top dogs, it's Lakers Celtics, baby. What more do you need? Like, it could be a bunch of scrubs, and I don't care. Like, I want them to beat the Celtics, you know?
Right.
And for the most part, the Celtics were cruising. The Lakers did make a valiant effort of trying to make the game close at the end. They damn near pulled it off. But it was kind of bizarre to see like fans in the stadium. I was like, damn, they all printed or laminated their Vax cards that quickly. Like, that's crazy. Like, but no, it was cool to. I'm sure it was great for the players. I know Donald and I talked about this, a few weeks ago about once fans are in attendance, what that pressure is going to be like, and how players I think are just going to be hyped to just play in front of somebody that's not their friends and family and staff.
Exactly.
So it was cool. It was cool to see it. So that's all I have to say. What do you think, Donald?
Yeah, I feel like the Celtics, even that game yesterday against the Warriors, they pulled it out at the end. So they definitely have that like fight in them, which is kind of weird to say given that they were like a 500 team the majority of the season. But given that like it was like a rivalry game, I was expecting a little bit more out of the Lakers, even though like, of course, like we always say, like without AD and LeBron, that's like 80% of your team. So... but like you said, they did keep it close. It wasn't like a huge blowout loss, but I mean, it was a loss regardless. Jaylen Brown, I see, had 40 points.
Career high, dude. That dude went off.
Yeah, so it was just kind of crazy. And then I think on our end as Lakers, Taylor Horton-Tucker had 19, which is the highest the player had, which is kind of telling of like how that game went and where the Lakers are at. When Taylor Horton-Tucker is like your best scorer, then that tells you something. But yeah, I was expecting a little bit more fight, especially because I think that was the one where the banner was raised and, it was a little bit more, to it with it being like a reminder of, first time live audience back. And at the same time, like this is the closest thing to like celebrating the championship being played. Being made, given that they did the rings in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Kind of makes me wonder if they should have just held off on the rings until a day like this or something. But
well, I've been told they're going to have the ring ceremony again once they have, they actually put up the banner. I believe the banner ceremony is set for later in May. The date escapes me at the moment. It may be May 15th. No, that's also another road game, but it's sometime in mid-May. They didn't put up the banner yet. They still have the
cover over it.
The cover over it. Yeah, that's coming up in May.
They got to do something because it was cool to see when the Dodgers did that. Even on the limited crowd that they had, like it was cool to see that they got their rings and there was a crowd there and whatnot, and there was a reaction from people instead of it just being like a stadium thing, exclusively.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I think the Lakers should redo it because they gotta one up it, man. They can't let the Dodgers be like the ones that had the better.
Yeah, because the Lakers title actually meant something.
What do you mean the Lakers?
Meaning like there's no asterisk to the Lakers title, like because to the Dodgers. So if the Dodgers gonna pop off like that, damn, Lakers better have the works prepared for their title, man.
Why must you hate? That's bad for your complexion. You're gonna get a pimple. That's not good for you. It's bad for your blood pressure. Stop with the hate.
Speaking of formidable opponents.
Yeah.
Don't you guys have
for the
some
Dodgers? It's been
Dodger
32
news,
years, so
well, formidable opponents is correct. The Dodgers are down in San Diego as we record this, and they had their eyes set on a sweep of the San Diego Padres. This series with San Diego is going to be must-watch TV.
I love it.
The entire season.
I love it.
What is this? I think Justin Turner was quoted as saying we have 18 World Series games scheduled this year against San Diego. So that was, of course, it started off on Friday night, the opening series. And Fernando Tatis Jr. back in the lineup right on time, dude. I mean, and this goes back to what we talked about. Like when players get hurt from other teams, you never want to see it because you want to see those players on that. You want to see them compete against your team if they're not on your team. So I loved that he came back right on time for that series because he delivered right away, hit a home run in what it was like the second inning, I believe it was. And man, that game went back and forth, battled the bullpens eventually, and the Dodgers took it in the 12th inning, man. 11-6. They went off on that 12th inning. Such a great game. And then Saturday was just as amazing, but it was more all Dodgers, all work, 2-0 win. Yu Darvish was pitching for San Diego, Kershaw on the mound for the Dodgers. And then this past Sunday, you had Trevor Bauer, El Diablo Blanco, in Quincy Ocha himself, going up against, you remember this guy, what's his name? Blake Snell. Good old Blake Snell from Tampa Bay back in the World Series from last year. And they both had great lines, man. I got to say, that was a pitcher's duel to begin with. You had Trevor Bauer, another quality start, 6 innings, only 1 earned, 3 hits, 7 strikeouts. So as much as I strongly dislike Trevor Bauer,
tweets.
What's up?
I said, and only 3 tweets.
3 tweets during the game, right? I'm telling you, and D-Bot, you weren't here last week when I mentioned this. I've been watching more and more of Trevor Bauer's YouTube page and just enjoying his videos for what they are. They are a great look. I enjoy it as a fan to see the insides of the behind the scenes of a baseball, facility, like seeing what it's like for a ball player to get into the facility, train, what they do on their off days, the science of them in between days of pitching and how they like to work out and how they like to, go about their preparation. However, it's so contrived how he thinks about his branding and how he's so in a meeting and it's just so false. And I was watching some of it and the missus came by and saw some of it with me. She's like, you know what I just don't like about him? He's not charismatic. He's like a wet blanket. But yeah, I guess you're right. Like he's just not compelling to listen to. Not like this podcast, of course, as you are listening to right now. So, D-Bot, what did you think of the Dodgers Slam Diego series so far?
Oh, it was good. It was good. I was hoping that it was gonna be this good, and it delivered. I was like, yeah, I think it'd be great to have like the rival team be like just 2 hours away, because I can only imagine now what this means for like future series and how they're gonna be sold and marketed. It's gonna be pretty cool. And yeah, I think that overall the series was really great. I was hoping for the sweep. Kind of not even mad that they took one, because I mean they did give a good pretty good. It was a pretty good weekend overall. So I could see that, like, obviously they're gonna be a team to watch out for coming up. So yeah, but I had a lot of fun watching it. You know what I mean? Machado's still kind of like, to me, the guy that I don't like seeing there, just because I don't know. And he knows he's loving this win today for sure. I know it. Like he's totally wanting to what's the word I'm looking for? Like he's totally trying to rub it in on the Dodgers and stuff. So.
He's an antagonist. He knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. He's really good at that, though. But yeah, man, looking forward to the rest of this future Padres Dodgers. Right, I think they're coming up next month, I believe. So
sometime soon. Yeah, I mean, like I said, 19 games against the Padres this whole season. It's a full season now. The Dodgers 13-3 now to start the year. They have yet to lose a series.
Yeah,
they have yet to lose a series.
Let me just say, as a neutral. To both teams.
Here we go. As unbiased as you could be, as somebody who puts an asterisk next to their title, you're going to all of a sudden be unbiased?
As realist and unbiased as I continue to be, yes, I will say this series and this rivalry that's developing here is fucking amazing, man. Like, I love it. I love both sides of it. And I respect the two of you as Dodger fans, because there's some other Dodger fans in other corners who are popping off saying things that I've heard and read that are like, the series means more to them, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, come on, man. Like, how do you not, revel in this rivalry and take pride in it? And even the players, even when you have a Justin Turner, which I appreciate when he comes out and says, hey, there's, X amount of World Series games. He's not shying away from it. He's not downplaying it and being like,
of course,
it's just the regular season. No, it's like this is a legit rivalry. There's talent, immense talent on both sides. Both teams are stacked, dude. Like on paper, and on the field, right. but especially on paper. And so for me as a baseball fan, it's just, and especially when it lives up to the hype. Like this whole series was amazing, man.
It was dope. Benches being cleared. I mean, come on,
dude. I was juiced for that Mookie catch yesterday on Saturday.
Yeah,
like that. That was amazing, man. Like I I was pumped up like, oh, what a way to end the game. Just like I was pumped up for when Tatis hit that first bomb. And it was like, what a way to say you're back. It also helps that I have him on my fantasy baseball team. But, it's fun to watch, man. So, like, I hope they continue to go at each other's throats. And, like they say, what iron sharpens iron. So I think
absolutely,
both of them are going to be better for this come September for the playoff run. And maybe, hopefully, October we get another rematch of last year. Yeah.
Oh man, an NLCS between these two teams, I don't know if my heart can take it. Like, it would be way too much for me to handle. But it's so amazing to see that Mookie walk-off catch, that sliding catch, the way he did, because he's just so pumped up from it. He starts pounding his chest after making that catch. And it's like, dude, this is game 15 of the season, and you're hyped.
Exactly.
You're hyped already.
Yeah.
Like, that's so impressive. And I wonder how much of it is because now they have fans in the stands. Like, these games are against division rivals, but the fans being there, I think, matters tremendously for them. So I think they're very, raring to go now early on. And let's see, you're going to go through those dog days of summer in July and August, and let's see how they still fare there against those teams that are, kind of weaker in the NL Central. I'm looking at you because I always feel like the NL Central teams are always like the weaker teams in the league.
Well, I'm sure the Braves are going to have something to say about this at the the end of the season also, to be like, yo, don't forget about us. Because again, the Braves were 2 innings away from
an eyelash away.
From representing the National League in the World Series. So
I believe it was a Turner diving tag away from making
some
the World
base
Series,
running gaffes away from being there. But anyways, the history is as such. So we'll see. But I'm pumped, man. We'll see what happens.
And you have reason to be pumped because your Major League Baseball team that you support is doing okay, right?
Speaking of formidable teams.
Speak on them,
How
Sonny.
How about the first place AL West division leading Seattle Mariners doing the damn thing? Fool's gold.
Clap it up for those M's. Come
on. I'll just put the disclaimer now. It ain't gonna last, but I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy it while I can. Especially when they now face the first place best MLB team or best record in the MLB, Los Angeles Dodgers.
Wow.
On the heels of winning that series with their rivals, the Padres, here come the Mariners, who took care of business against the former rivals of the Dodgers, the Trastros. And now they head to LA, to Chavez Ravine to see
the Dodgers head to
Seattle. That's right. Excuse me. I'm getting ahead of myself because the Mariners do head to LA later in the season. I was mentioning to Alex before we got started that Primo Rick already promised me a seat because he got tickets to that series. It's part of his package.
Heck yeah.
But yes, you were right, Alex. We are hosting me by way of LA, but my people in Seattle are holding it down. We are going to be hosting the LA Dodgers. First place LA Dodgers.
First place Dodgers, first place Mariners. A real clash of the Titans here.
Yeah.
How are your M's doing? What are you liking from your team so far?
Grit, man. No quit. I think we have already 6 come from behind victories.
Awesome.
Of the 12 or 10 or 11 victories that we have.
That's dope,
I think we're 10 and 6. I forget what the record is now.
10 and 6.
Yeah, exactly.
First place.
So I think half of those, at least, if not more of them, have been come from behind victories, which, of course, always makes for an uncomfortable watch. But when they do deliver, it's satisfying. And so it's been fun, man. I mean, again, still no Kyle Lewis. Reports are suggesting he may be in the lineup tomorrow, Monday, against the Dodgers. So
should be good.
Yeah, but we'll see. So we've done it without him. We've done it, thus far. But again, it's a long ass season, man. Who am I joking? I'm only enjoying this right now because I can. But they've been fun to watch. So we'll see.
The Dodgers do like to welcome back star players to lineups, as they did with Fernando Tatis this past weekend.
Exactly.
So let's see. Hopefully Kyle Lewis can come back on time. So I don't want to put an asterisk on your first place Mariners.
No, it's okay. You can.
but I will, because they're only in first place because the Angels didn't play their other 2 games over the weekend. So
there you are correct. Then.
So they're currently up by half a game.
Yes.
The Mariners.
Although the Angels could have easily dropped 1 or 2 of those games.
You know what? You're right.
So,
you're totally right. But
hypothetically speaking, you can only play who's in front of you.
Correct. And the Angels are currently in second place right now, 8-5 record, half game back of the Seattle Mariners. Yes. And they couldn't play these past 2 games because why, Sonny?
Mr. Anderson Simmons, the former Angel, the non-COVID, not trying to shame COVID vaccine, anti-COVID vaccine or anti-vax people, but
oh wow,
he has come out and very publicly, I think, when asked, said he was not going to get the vaccine. Of course, he then contracted the virus, and because of that, it's not a laughing matter. I just laugh at the irony of it. But the irony, right. And so as a result of that, of course, through tracing, MLB decided to put the Twins on the back burner and suspend their upcoming games, which included 2 of them against the Angels, and I think they're also suspending this next upcoming series or the first couple games against the Oakland A's as well. So,
oh wow.
So so the Angels were off for the last 2 days. So yes, maybe to Alex's point, they would have been shared, co-division leaders, but yeah. So, but the Angels are holding their own, man. They're hanging in there.
Yeah, the Angels aren't looking too bad, man. They're improving a little bit. And as I was mentioning to Sonny, I wouldn't mind seeing an Angels-Dodgers World Series. That's whenever I see the Angels doing okay, I'm like, in that American League, you never know. But, and especially in baseball, you never know. Like, there's no real dominant teams right now. In baseball, anything could freaking happen. So it's like, get to the playoffs and just get hot at the right time. And you might have the depth to weather the storm and get to that postseason and then World Series, and then you never know.
So here it is then. What's the little friendly wager? We already have a wager going on our MLS bet, which we'll get to in a second. But what's our little friendly wager here for this 2-game series? D-Bot, Alex?
I want to parlay here. Dodgers take both games against Seattle. LA Galaxy win the MLS Cup. 5,000. But I want odds that back me up that if none of that happens, I only lose 1,000.
Okay.
I don't know how that works. I gotta check. What is that? What's that betting site? The only one that
Which
exists. One? DraftKings. I gotta check DraftKings to see if they'll give me the odds for that. Isn't it like $1 and you could win $1,000? That's how it works.
Something like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
You can't lose money there.
I got some ice to sell you too.
No, but honestly, I haven't seen much of the Mariners, and when you tell me they have grit, that kind of worries me for this Dodgers. Well, the Dodgers team.
At the end of the day, they're still the Mariners, man. What do you got to see about this team, man? Like, just make the damn bet. Believe in your team.
And what's to say the Dodgers won't have a bit of a hangover from, taking 2 or 3 from San Diego? I believe Dustin May might
the Mariners won't have a hangover from taking care of the trash drugs. The excuses are there.
Like a true gambler. I love it.
So you tell me, and Donald, why don't you be a man? Step up to the plate. Since Alex won't do anything here, how about you put let's get some action going here on this Mariners-Dodgers series.
I think it should be team versus team.
No odds.
I mean, Dodgers are 13-3, right? Like the Mariners are technically in first place, but we're 10-6, right? We're not the same. So I feel like it should be 2-1. That's as
I was gonna say. I actually was gonna say 2-1. That feels like
it's overly. You're giving them a little bit too much because they're only 3 games back of the Dodgers.
All right, I hate that you're making me do this, but I'm gonna dissect my team here and remind everyone who they are. This team has not made the playoffs since 2001. Mm-hmm. The Dodgers have been knocking on the door for what's been a perennial NL dynasty, not MLB dynasty yet, but NL dynasty for the last few years. These two teams are in different stratospheres here. So to me, for instance, if we pop in next week, I can very well hear the podcast start with, and the Dodgers who swept the Seattle Mariners, and none of us would be surprised, right? None of us would blink an eye.
Right.
However, if we say the Mariners swept the Dodgers, I'll be dancing. I'll be getting down. It'd be like a party.
You'll be doing that Mookie Betts chest
I'd be like,
slap,
2-game sweep. I don't care. It's still a sweep. So...
But that's why it's so difficult to bet on 2 games, because what if there's a split? Now, a split's obviously a push.
Well, here's what the bet should
be.
The Dodgers, if they don't sweep, I win. That's what the bet should be.
Okay, you know what? I'll take that bet, because when you get into odds and having to cover runs, that's where too much math gives me a headache.
So we bet on we're betting on the sweep, basically, is what we're betting. So all the Mariners have to do is take one of the 2, and it's success.
You've won the bet. You've won the bet. Okay, cool. I'll take that, and I will bet a nice tall glass of Terramana Rock Tequila against you. How about that? A nice
Donald,
bottle.
what do you got here? $10, $20. What you got?
What do you feel? Feeling lucky? What do we got?
Yeah, let's say 20.
All right. You have a bet, my friend. All right, tune in next week. I may or may not show up, depending on how this bet ends up.
Tune in to Sonny Amato's other podcast, dealing with gambling addiction. Check your local spot. Check it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast downloaded. Dealing with addiction.
Be sure to review.
Rate, review, and subscribe to Gambling Addictions Anonymous there, hosted by Sonny Amato. All right, so MLS Season 26 kicked off this past weekend, and LAFC hosted the new darlings of the MLS, Austin FC, at still Bank of California Stadium. How did that work out for your team, Sonny?
Swell.
Though?
It started off a little shaky. Donald, you might want to let the audience know on what happened with our best player early on in this match.
Yeah, so with Carlos Vela, if you didn't watch it, or if you didn't, follow LAFC Twitter, because that was like a pretty big thing that happened, was that he got accidentally subbed out, which was pretty terrible miscommunication between the trainers and Vela. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden, like, he got hurt, and then he wasn't really signaling for a sub, but kind of like, hey, help me out a little bit, like some treatment. And
me duele.
And then they thought, oh, he wants to get out already. I mean, can you blame the trainers, right? Like, Vela's been pretty hurt, last season, so I would think they probably thought the worst, like maybe he just wants out, Right. And I'm thinking they're probably thinking it's early in the season, like, let's just not, I don't know. I don't know why I'm defending it like that, but I just feel like
it just preach like, on. Keep going.
But it's just like, it's a funny thing that happened
Hop
overall.
aboard the excuse train.
Because
yeah, exactly. So it was a bit of a gaffe by our gaffer, our skipper, Bob Bradley. Yeah, it was embarrassing, man. Vela got subbed out in 22 minutes accidentally, I guess. And but just goes to show we're playing the game without the reigning Golden Boot winner Diego Rossi, who has had a little bit of a hamstring
like an
issue.
hour before the game. I think they called it that he wasn't going to be playing.
Exactly. So essentially, we played this game without Rossi and without Vela for everything except for about 20 minutes. And we still came out with a 2-0 win. It was Corey Baird, our newly acquired forward, who scored his LAFC debut goal in front of fans at the bank. No, I was not one of them there because I'm not fully vaxxed yet. But yeah, it was good to see. And then they scored a stoppage time. I think it was Cifuentes who scored to make it 2-0. And LAFC off to a good start, man. I'll take it, especially given that our two best players basically didn't play in this game. So
yeah, a bit of a almost like a shorthanded win, it felt like, for you guys, right? Especially without Rossi and Vela. That Vela miscommunication looks really bad, right? Like as you mentioned on last week's pod, that Bob Bradley's already on the hot seat. And we also speculated too, like, how long does Vela have left on his LAFC contract? And it almost kind of feels like after this season, MLS Cup or bust, right? And if they don't win the MLS Cup, one of those two has got to go, right? There's going to be a revamping, or maybe I'm just like freaking the sky's falling out on the Bank of California Stadium right now. But it's such a bad look when there's such bad miscommunication. I
think it was just like Donald was actually onto something. I think it was simply a matter of the fact that Vela had that injury last season, and it was a funny play where he fell awkwardly. And he was calling for some attention, not necessarily to be subbed out. I think immediately, red flags went up, and Bob Bradley was just like, let's get the sub in because I don't want him to even risk trying to go back out there if it is that serious. Not realizing that Vela the whole time was just kind of like, I'm fine. Give me just a quick minute to get back out there. So it's okay. I mean, honestly, the team saved his ass because they ended up getting the win anyways.
I think if you didn't win, they would have looked really bad.
Exactly.
Luckily, you played against Austin FC, who, again, with its expansion teams, you could be an LAFC and do great, or you could be a Cincinnati FC and be like, oh, wow, like they're still figuring themselves out.
Yeah.
Austin looks like they're still figuring themselves out. I did feel for Atuesta at the end because that was basically the sub that was needed.
Right.
And they forced you forced him to play through it because, it's either that or you would have to go down 10 men or something, right?
Exactly.
Which would have looked even bad too, PR-wise and everything. But yeah, it was kind of interesting how that all played out. Like the whole wow, like that was Vela's sub was supposed to be for Atuesta, who really is banged up and is now really forcing himself. But like you said, luckily, I think by that point it was already. I think they had scored the second goal, so it was just a matter of just running down the clock and having him just not get too crazy. But yeah, it was insane.
Yeah,
it was insane seeing how that all played out. So yeah,
kind of comical, but we'll forgive it in this instance.
You can look back and laugh because you got 3 points. So it's
and because Vela is technically healthy, which is most important. So it's
you're gonna need it for this week, right?
Yeah,
you got Seattle Sounders.
Seattle, yep.
So, I mean, he is healthy, so he claims. So hopefully he could keep up. I mean, you got to look out for that doctor report. Hopefully that doctor report's legit, and that's not the, a doctor from Pacific who just tells you, you're okay. Yeah, go down and play. Or recreational marijuana doctor. There you go. That's one maybe more people understand.
Yeah.
So also getting started this past week was our LA Galaxy, Donald, and they were in Miami, being hosted by Inter Miami, David Beckham's club. And I gotta say, man, that first half was it felt very reminiscent of last year's Galaxy. They were playing with a style but was still inconsistent and didn't feel completely flushed out. But in the second half, and especially there was toward the end of that first half, there was a questionable goal. I'll just say that was allowed by Inter Miami. What looked like a clear offside.
Yeah.
VAR took a look at it and said it wasn't.
Yeah.
But it was a clear and obvious offside. However, they still let that one stand. And then Miami later in the second half was awarded a penalty kick, which was also called on the field live with VAR. VAR were taking a look at it, and they did. Should not have upheld it, but they still allowed it to happen. So those two goals scored by Miami were VAR's goals. They weren't Miami's goal, in my opinion. Maybe this is just me being a sour Galaxy fan. D-Bot, what's your opinion on those two Miami goals?
I think objectively looking at it, I think a lot of people, I was watching a lot of MLS Twitter after the fact, and a lot of people said, yeah, legit, like they screenshot it. Higuain was offside. The penalty was also like another questionable one. I think Pizarro really just sold it by staying, which, I mean, everybody does that, you know what I mean? And either you sell it,
it's part of the game,
and the ref buys it, or you don't. And I think the ref was just like, no, that was a legit, like you really you fouled him, and it was in the penalty box. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how Miami feels about it. I mean, overall they lost, but I wonder if they do feel like, we really didn't score. I was really impressed with the Galaxy's defense. I thought, man, these guys look so different. It's such a completely different team now. And then happy for Chicharito. You know what I mean? He he definitely, showed up, and I saw his post game, which was really emotional, talking about his grandpa passing away and how like that affected his mental health and everything. So, it was really cool. But overall, like I am glad to see this team go through and at least get the 3 points. I would have been I honestly was expecting a draw. When I saw the defense play the way they played, I was like, oh, they're at least if they get a draw, that'll be at least it's a progress and whatnot. Maybe they just need to figure out how to create opportunities. But like to me, the first half felt very Barcelona-ish, where they're just passing, and trying to create something. And then the only thing they could create was the obvious cross to the center, which doesn't really work for Chicharito. I think it's the height thing. It's definitely the height thing. Like he's a little short dude, so. It's like the 2 goals that he made were on the floor, so it just felt like in the second half, luckily they figured out something, and luckily like Inter Miami's like defense kind of fell apart and they took advantage of the mistakes. So
I don't know if you caught that, Sonny. We buried the lead on purpose for you to let you know. Chicharito, MLS goal scoring leader, scored 2 goals in this game against Inter Miami. Chicharito is back. Forget the MLS is back. Chicharito is back. He's single, ladies. Get after. Wait a minute. We don't know if that's true. But he is back in fit form, football form. He's back. 2 goals. The game winner for the LA Galaxy scored in the 81st minute by Sasha Klechkin, dude. How about that?
That
dude?
was insane. I was like,
old man fever in full effect. Let's go Boomers. All of us Boomers. No, wait, Chicha's not that old. But dude, it was good. He's up there, but he's not that old. It was good to see the Galaxy get this big 3-2 win that they needed, especially under Greg Vanney's like first game for the first game behind the bench for the LA Galaxy. And like I said, the first half, to your point, D-Bot, it was very reminiscent of last year where I was just seeing crosses into the box, which like, man, that was GBS's style that I hated seeing when you guys are you just don't know how to create. And it was so frustrating to see that. But that second half, the strong defense again, but I don't like the defense that Galaxy plays on their heels. I prefer to see them maintain more possession, but they were able to counter good. Like they were able to get it. When you counter, you want to actually bury the ball, right? And they were able to do that with when Ethan Zubak came in for that sub. And it was the same thing. It was a very similar cross, but the cross was not high.
No, it was
a short cross.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of what you want. You want a short cross where Chicha beat a defender on the weak side, put it down the first touch, and slid it right past the goalie. So, I mean, it was...
That first goal was a vintage Chicharito goal in the sense that he just has a nose for the ball when it's played into the box, and he knows how to just kind of time it to where he can catch the defender off guard and beat them to the ball. So, yeah, I mean, it was as... I'm not a hater. I don't hate watch the Galaxy. I wasn't actively rooting for them to lose. I was just I tuned into the second half, actually.
Nice.
And that's when I saw the Chicharito goal, and I was and a part of me, again, because as I've mentioned on this podcast before, I've rooted plenty of times for that guy just as a representative for the Selección de Mexico, that it felt good to see this guy who had been struggling, all of last year and had all this pressure and, some of it self-imposed, that he you could see like a weight kind of came off of him, especially once he put that second one. It was like, okay, now he's committed. We'll see if he can sustain it. But it was good to see Chicharito. It's good for the league when the franchise players come in and are the scorers or are contributing to the score sheet or just the game, period,
No, exactly.
So all in all, I thought that was a very positive thing for the Galaxy and for the league.
And for him too, man. Like D-Bot, as you were saying, he was very emotional in the post-game presser. He needs this for his, what he's been going through personally, obviously the passing of his grandfather, and what he may be going to in his personal life, what I allude to jokingly, but that's obviously a very serious thing to have to go through, man, especially when you have work that's not going well either, right? Like on the pitch, you're like, hey, I just can't get these goals in the net, like in my snake bit. Because even in the preseason, he had some clean looks at goal and just weren't going in for him. So it's just like, man, what the hell's going on in this world right now?
Yeah.
But man, all is right now in the world because all of us are here for West Box Score, and the Galaxy took a 3-2 win where Chicha scores 2 goals. Tied for the goal scoring lead, tied for Golden Boot right now. It's the Golden Boot race right now, and if you're keeping track, Chicha 2 goals, Vela 0. If you're
you better put some respect on Diego Rossi. Our club has the back-to-back Golden Boot winners. Okay, so we'll talk at the end of the season. We'll see where they all stack up.
That's another bet that we have to make between.
It's gonna be a good El Tráfico season this season.
Oh yeah,
like seeing that both of them could play. It felt good. That's the one thing I did. Kind of was watching. Was like, man, this defense is really impressive. You know, Fisher and all them to Pew with the thing. I was kind of like,
yeah,
oh, this is gonna be a great El Tráfico season. This is not gonna be like last season where it was like a toss up of who would win. This feels like it's gonna be like a good one. Like, so as long as everybody stays healthy, but like. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it for sure. Not just because of the annual rivalry, but it looks like both squads are looking really good on the pitch. You know what I mean? So it's awesome.
Not like according to last season when Sonny said that LAFC gifted us a couple of games there. So this time we'll earn them.
Part of the plan. That's right.
In
Sonny's eyes. And it worked. I remember when you guys were burying Bob Bradley in the summer, just saying, you know, is he on the hot seat and the Galaxy on the rise?
Well, Bob Bradley too was like making it seem like the LAFC are the Lakers and the Galaxy are the Clippers. I'm like, hold on, like I don't see any trophies in the LAFC.
The only reason
right
we
now.
Galaxy. That's the only reason.
That's where it got me. I was kind of like, don't do that. Like, you know what I mean? We have chance where we talk about championships, you know. So let's not like, you know what I mean. Don't do the whole like no.
I mean, they're not far off. I'll just say that, you know. So
I was like, at least win a title. That's what I was saying, Bob Bradley. At least if you can win a title, then okay, you can say something. But until then, don't make it look like Lakers and Clippers.
Hey, look, I'll put it to you this way. The analogy I would use is the LAFC has been the Dodgers prior to 2020 in the sense that they've been the dominant team.
That's a fair comparison.
And they just they've been falling short. They just can't finish the final hurdle. So hopefully LAFC follows suit like the Dodgers and actually delivers at some point here, hopefully this season or in the next two. But it's got to happen soon, you know, because you can't just keep showing up. You know, you guys knew as Dodger fans, it's like, oh, we keep getting this close and these fuckers don't deliver and they keep, you know, it's agonizing. And it's like at some point, something's got to give. You don't win the title. Do you rebuild? Do you fire Dave Roberts? All that talk that used to take place.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so to me, that's the analogy that I think of.
I completely agree. It's a very good analogy. It's very true. And to me, LAFC is a bit more like a Chihuahua that's all little, a loud bark, but no bite yet. And recognize that LA Galaxy are the big dog on the park.
Because we have a player. We have a player whose name is Chicharito. Yeah. That's
just for the analogy of the talking that we're hearing out LAFC. They bark so loud but have no bite. I mean, you got everybody speaking up over there. You got Michael Anthony Kay talking about it's a World Cup game for the Galaxy and LAFC. For the Galaxy when they play LAFC, and you got Bob Bradley trying to make comparisons. Like, go win something first. Go win something.
And maybe the Galaxy can win something in this new version of MLS, this competitive version of MLS, not the one that existed 8 years ago or 7 years ago. So, you know, we're both standing on similar footing here, man. Do we all recognize Uruguay's 3 World Cup champions and call them their World Cup titles and refer to them as one of the greatest countries every World Cup? No, they're an afterthought. We think about the Brazils. We think about, you know, Argentina,
Brazil are pretty much it.
But yet Uruguay won 3 of the first couple tournaments, you know, just like LA Galaxy did. So chill there with the whole we win titles thing. It was a different league, buddies.
I could barely keep up with the 696 history, and you're going way back to World Cup history back in the 30s here.
You know why? Because that's not how soccer works.
That's right.
Still waiting on that.
So that's all for soccer talk. Let's move on to the ice now, where the LA Kings, man, got the whole weekend off because what happened? A couple of Avalanche players tested positive for COVID, so we're getting a bit of a relief from the Kings. However, I got to mention this here on the pod to you guys. I will be in attendance at the first ever LA Kings game at Staples Center with fans in attendance. I think it's very fitting.
First ever one? Man, they've never had fans.
Well, I'm sorry. First one back since the pandemic has been, since the pandemic. First time since fans are allowed back since the whole COVID-19 pandemic. So it's exciting for me because the missus was there at the last one where they played the Calgary Flames, and now she's going to be there for the first one. She was at the last one pre-pandemic, and now at the first one post-pandemic. So I'm like, oh, we got to go check it out, especially because it's Tráfico on ice, Kings versus Ducks. It's so cool to see that. And usually it's good, like when the Dodgers are playing the Mariners, right? 2 division leaders. However, this time, Tráfico on ice is featuring the 2 bottom teams in the Western Division, the Kings in second to last place, the Ducks in last place. But it's hockey, man, and I'm going to be inside Staples Center to see it. So it's going to be exciting to see that.
You got to report from there then.
I will do. I have to do like a live report if I can get inside.
Yeah, do you got that Vax card?
So I got my Vax card, fully vaccinated, 2 doses. However, there's a little stipulation there. You also need to wait the 2 weeks before you're considered fully vaccinated. Thanks a lot, Fauci. Thanks.
Come on.
Thanks a lot. Oh, you have to wait 2 weeks for it to be fully effective. Like, I got the vaccines. I'm good. Or you could supply a negative COVID test, which is at the time we're recording this, I've already done my test. Hopefully it comes back negative I'm hoping that my strong antibodies, because they are so strong. Do you know the vaccine has my plasma in it because I donated when I had COVID? I donated my plasma to help find this vaccine, just doing my part to help you guys.
Oh, that's why I've been watching lately. It's a little bit of you and me right now.
Your hate level is up.
Like
You're right.
My hate, endorphins are at an all-time high.
It's because you got my plasma in you. That's how it works, bro. And so yes, I'm hoping I could go inside Staples Center. I'm just excited to see the LA Kings, man. They are a dumpster fire on ice. That is true. But I still gotta go see them. I love the way Sonny laughs at them because he's like, "How can you bash your team so bad?" You know what it's like. You know who your Mariners are.
Rewind the tape. Rewind the tape, man. I know.
Because you can't fake it here. You got to be honest with your team. But yeah, if any Ducks fan were to talk smack on my Kings, you best believe I'll be like, but wait a minute, we got so and so.
Yeah.
And give him a year, and he's gonna be good.
Yeah.
We re-signed Iafallo. He's going to be solid. We got some stability. We traded away that dead weight Jeff Carter.
Yeah.
Actually, no. In all seriousness, that was sad.
Yeah, man. I was saying dead weight Jeff Carter. Jeez.
I got to spin it. Spin it here. It was really sad.
Yeah.
And big up, right now, I got to say thank you to Jeff Carter for those 2 Stanley Cups.
That's right.
That he brought him and his buddy Mike Richards. When they came, the Kings, he turned them around.
Do they hang his number in the rafters?
They should.
They have to.
At this point, how many numbers are you going to put
Doughty,
up there, man? You got
Carter. And those are the 2 that stand out to me the most for those 2. I guess Quick. Quick should definitely.
Quick. It'd be Kopitar.
Oh yes,
Doughty,
Kopitar.
Quick, and I would put Carter in there, but I don't know. Like 3 from this dynasty, I think is kind of what it should be, like a good cap, because that was their core. Yes, Carter and Richards were kind of like these hired mercenaries that came in and helped us get over the hump. But for me, the core is like
Kopitar.
Doughty, Kopitar, and Quick. And then after that, it's kind of like, yes, thank you for your contributions. But, best of luck in your future endeavors at this point now. But, I mean,
ruthless.
These Kings, man, they're not going to make any playoffs. But I'll still be watching, and I'll be in there to watch them. So I'm excited for that. D-Bot, have you been watching? D-Bot, we got to give a big shout out to D-Bot here for our fantasy hockey league. He did not play this week. Why? He is one of the top 2 teams on a bye this week.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Put some respect on D-Bot's fantasy hockey game. It's ridiculous.
That algorithm really works, man. You just set that sucker.
That reboot helped them.
Team 7 going strong, man.
And also to give the listeners a heads up, will probably be eliminated this week by Rick Esparza, our co-host on Lucha Royale. So my playoff run ended 1 and done. At least I made it. Sonny, how did your fantasy hockey season go?
That's all, folks. Tune in next time on the West Box Score. No, it was fun to play the first season. Maybe my last season.
I hear you. Same as well.
Just fantasy hockey. Again, I've vented to you guys privately before. It's a pain in the ass, the fact their scoring system. I hate that it's win or loss only. kind of how some fantasy football leagues run. I prefer more the cumulative records, statistical records for fantasy. That's how real fantasy players do it. But nonetheless, it was fun to kind of tune in a little more intently to the hockey season because of it. So,
for real,
not a good fantasy year.
D-Bot, the secrets to your success, or do you not want to reveal them yet? Because Rick, who you may be playing later, might hear this.
I don't know. Should I reveal it? I guess
No, you can't do it. Rick's gonna listen.
You
man.
cannot.
Tune in next week to find out how Donald beat Rick.
Yeah. If I'm still here, if I'm still in it, then I'll break it out. But until then, I'll just won't say anything.
There you go.
Go Team 7. That's all.
Look at that poker face on the fantasy hockey. I love it, man. So before we wrap up this week, I think Sonny wanted to mention a combat sporting event that happened.
I can't believe you actually went there. I think there was one legit boxer out there that
you paid for the pay-per-view.
Yeah, no, I didn't pay for that shit.
Oh, okay. I was about to say I posted the full fight on Discord.
Hell no.
The highlight
nice.
afterwards. It was like 5 minutes long. It's like,
yeah, I did not care to watch that fight of two of the most obnoxious dudes on the planet.
Oh man, Ben Askren's not that bad.
I mean, compared to Jake Paul, I guess he seems like a stand-up dude.
Did you hear what Jake Paul said about Nate Diaz?
What did you say about Nate Diaz?
He tweeted out about he knock him out.
Ah, come on, man. That dude's just chasing money now.
At that point, I'm kind of like, now you're trying to go through the whole UFC roster to see who else you could
just trying to chase money, paycheck. Man, are we? Yeah. Let's not give any more time to this shit.
It was on the ESPN ringside Twitter.
Okay.
So
no, but I just want to say this: between Logan Paul and Jake Paul, I can't really not tell a difference between either one of those guys. And I know they're very famous on YouTube, and obviously, I have a 13-year-old little brother who, of course, sends me the whole Fight TV, page. And says, "Oh, look at this! Jake Paul fights, $50. Can we order it?" And I say, "No, don't waste your money on that. UFC 256 is coming up the week after.
There you go.
That's what we're gonna order.
That's a good big brother right there.
Oh, come on! I'm just like for one fight, man. You just cannot do that. So
a 5-minute fight.
Yeah, 5-minute fight. I mean, it's one fight really is what you're paying for. I guess on the co-main event, it was Frank Mir was on the co-main event.
I guess you're paying for Snoop's commentary and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's kind of like whatever about that. Did you guys think really that like Ben was really out? I felt like the ref called it. Like
here we go.
I feel like the ref called it because it was kind of like all like this is the theater of the whole thing, Like he caught the blow, knocked out, whatever, and then he gets up, and then I feel like he looks like he's good to go, and then the ref just calls it.
I just seen what looked like Ben Askren's wife or side chick. I don't know who she is, but just hug him as he's walking back, and he's smiling, and she's just kind of like, "It's okay, we're going to the bank next, right?" Like,
yeah, exactly.
And
I did see that he did say he was like,
on.
"Oh, I'm really sorry," but like in that very like, "Oh, I'm not really sorry." Like,
yeah, exactly.
So I was kind of like, you see, this is stupid. Like, why, why did this happen?
Yeah.
Because people are willing to pay for it.
Talk about it on their podcast.
Like us.
But that's or only give it about a minute or so, which is all they're getting this week. And that's going to be it for us this week on West Box Score. Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at West Box Score. Be sure to check out Sonny and Mono's podcast, the Fox Crate Podcast. New episodes coming real soon. Keep updating your podcast feed. Follow him on Instagram at the Fox Crate. Be sure to check us out on Discord, also in the show notes. Be sure to follow our media partner, Blue Wire Hustle, on Twitter. They are at Blue Wire Hustle. And also, you a coffee fan? Of course you are. I know I'm a coffee fan. Be sure to drink some Sailor Brews coffee, right, D-Bot? Isn't that like the best coffee that you've ever drank?
It is.
Wow.
It's really good coffee, man. Really smooth. So I'm loving it.
Did we just sell out? Did the moment finally come? Am I witnessing history here?
We are supporting a black-owned veteran small business, and that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Salute the troops with a nice tall glass of Sailor Brew coffee. Come on.
Based in Pasadena, California, too.
And remember, Sonny, West Box Score doesn't sell out. We buy in. And that's it for us this week. See ya.
Peace.
Later.